Good afternoon, everybody. Can I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners on the land of which we meet and pay my respects to their elders past and present. Can I please also acknowledge from the outset the tremendous acts of heroism, bravery, fearlessness and selflessness to give of themselves to serve Australia with distinction, to risk their lives, that people like myself and generations to come are able to live a life of freedom, live a life without fear. So I pay my ultimate respects to Leslie Manning, Norman Maddock, Ian Barker and to Dave Humphreys. And to you four, that thanks is not just for coming today, but for the sacrifices that you made then and made when you returned home. To the friends that you lost, to the family that probably didn't understand on your return the sacrifices and the experiences that you went through. And so, ladies and gentlemen, to be here and to be standing before you is extraordinarily humbling. And I can't say that there are many times that I'm able to give a speech to a group of people where I can genuinely say that I feel unworthy at times to stand before you. That the sacrifices that you made, and in fact to our existing servicemen and women, the sacrifices that they continue to make, regardless of the conflict or the battles that they go to. And so I think today is a poignant time to remember that war is always something should be the last resort. I can say it again. War certainly should be never considered anything but the last resort. The fact that we send our sons and daughters overseas to risk their lives for us is not lost on me. And so can I also acknowledge the other servicemen and women in the room today and thank them, and indeed thank all of you for your service to your country. Can I also, Your Grace, thank you for your words. To my parliamentary colleagues, firstly Maria Van Vakanu representing the Leader of the Opposition, to the President of the Legislative Council, Bruce Atkinson, to Murray Thompson, my colleague in the lower house and member for Sandringham representing the Opposition Leader today, and also Lee Talamas, former Member of Parliament and friend of mine too. Today it gives me special pride to be here though, for of course, as my name would denote, I have heritage that comes from Crete. Indeed, my great-grandfather came from Sfakia, and my Uncle George, who many of you that are from the Pan-Cretan Association here would know. It's kind of amusing and ironic to me that I'm here before you talking, because Uncle George has been wanting to get me here for some time. And of course, where is he? But Greece. So if one of you could take a photo to make sure that he knows that I definitely was here. He will actually, I think, during his trip right now, travel to Crete as well, and he's published a book on our family history as well. So it's particularly personal to be here and be able to acknowledge the huge sacrifice that our ANTACs, not just Australian and New Zealand troops by the way, but there were 15,000 English troops also present that fought not just bravely but inflicted some of the greatest casualties that the Germans experienced in their battles. And can I say that one of the most interesting aspects of the war at the time was of course that the Germans used paratroopers in their battle. And as a result of the fierce battle and the fighting and the unbelievable tenacity of the Australian, New Zealand, English and the local Cretan communities, that the Germans went away and thought that paratroopers were probably not the answer for the rest of their war. But in fact, such was the interest in the use of paratroopers that the Allies actually went away and thought that that was something that they needed to use more of. So it's very interesting that the lessons from the battle, from both sides that came out of it, were very, very different. But the one thing that we can be absolutely united on was the tenacity that the locals fought alongside with the troops from Australia and New Zealand and England in making sure that the Germans understood that Crete was not just something that could be won at no cost, that the battle went on for some time and we managed to not just hold them off and inflict significant casualties, but we managed to learn something out of it that assisted us in being able to ultimately help to defeat the Germans later on. And at the end of some construction that's going on, what I do is implore all of you to come and visit the tree that was planted and look at the plant that was opened and launched with the Greek Consul General and friend of all of ours in the community, Christina Simantareki, and say a prayer for all those that lost their lives, a prayer for all those who continue to risk their lives, and to make sure that my generation and generations to come never forget the lessons that we learned then or continue to learn. That with great sacrifice comes a lesson for all of us as